What's up, everybody? It's Jackson with the Shafter Coaches Show. Quarterfinal matchups for Division III were great. Bunch of upsets all the way around, including our Shafter Generals. They fell to Washington Union by two touchdowns this past Friday night. Kind of a weird game because the Generals, usually start slow, start slow, and end fast. It was kind of opposite this game. They started really fast, actually, and kind of fizzled out towards the end of the game. They gave up 27 points in the fourth quarter. I think that was obviously you can't do that. You can't win football games like that. And I think the offense as well struggled in the second half. They only put up 3 points. And I think the biggest thing offensively in the playoffs, and this goes for all leagues, NFL, college, high school, youth, you can't settle for field goals and expect to win. You gotta, score touchdowns in the red zone. And the Generals were forced to take some field goals that I think came back to hurt them. But today, we're going to kind of talk about maybe some stuff the Generals could do next year that might help them in the secondary. I know that's a big topic of conversation. They're losing their 3 horsemen, and Ezekiel Osborne, Marion Sloan, and Nick Rossetti. But I think they're going to have a pretty solid team next year. I think they're going to have a lot more experience. So we'll kind of talk about my opinion on some stuff they could do in the secondary that may help them out a little bit next year. And we're also going to talk about Wasco's 2-point play to beat Kerman. That was my game of the week. That was a thriller. Wasco came back from 13 and won that thing. Pretty impressive. We're going to talk about Kennedy's D-line play, how they've really elevated their game, and then what Independence likes to do, just kind of standard. I've got to see them play once, but they're a lot better now. So we're going to get right into it. First off, let's start with the Generals. So, this is just an example for you guys. Kind of get a good angle on it. Oh, and it's also raining, so if it's trouble to hear, my bad, but it's always good to be outside in the rain. I love it. So anyways, let's actually move this over here so I can draw some stuff out for you guys. All right. So, I think the biggest key for the Generals going into next year, and I think they will do this, pre-snap movement. Now, what does that mean? In its simplest form, it means all these guys on the defense are moving around pre-snap to try to confuse mainly this quarterback or this offensive line. So that means, for one thing, if the tailback's on the right, hey, the string's probably the left, or their left, the defense is right. Hey, we're going to shift these guys over. Let's shift to the strength of the field, to the field side. Hey, these backers, let's move around. Let's start, shifting. Let's communicate with each other. This secondary, I want you guys moving the most. When you have a troubled secondary, what helps you the most is pre-snap movement and making this quarterback wrong. Make him critically think. Because in high school football, it's not all like the Generals offense. Actually, most of the time, a quarterback goes to the sidelines. He goes, "Coach, what's the play?" The coach goes, "Hey, I want you to throw it to this, or this is the play. Look off the safety. I want you to throw it to this guy." Pre-snap movement eliminates that. And I would say 90% of high school football teams run offensive plays like that. So pre-snap movement would eliminate it. Why? These guys are moving around. The coach can't come back and tell him where to throw it to after he's already given him the play. So statistically speaking, the coach and this quarterback are going to be wrong. That's why I like pre-snap movement. It helps so much, especially in the secondary. We're going to focus a little bit on the secondary. So let's give you guys a prime example of pre-snap movement. We're going to run cover 2 to the field. Remember, field has the most room to run. Cover 2 to the field. We're going to run man on this backside. A lot of people think Generals has struggled man coverage. I don't think that's the case. I think they're just the secondary was predictable sometimes in where they would be. And if pre-snap movement can eliminate that, they'll be in a lot better success. So, cover 2, right? So this quarter, I want this quarter, man, he can move around there. He can run to the defensive back. I don't care. Move around pre-snap. Make this guy guess where you're going to be. But by the time the ball is snapped, he's coming down. He's got flats in cover 2. This safety, man, you could run up here real quick. You could run back here. All I care about, what you do pre-snap, communicate with your boys, and you're going to end up playing, by the time the ball snapped, over the top in cover 2. This Sam Backer, same thing. You could walk up to the line. Actually, I would love if you walked up to the line acting like you were going to blitz. drop back, you got hook to curl, which is like 7 to 8 yards deep to take anything away. If this guy runs a little hitch or a little out route, the corner would have that, but you're there for anything in this zone, okay? But pre-snap, I want you guys moving around. We already talked about the defensive line. You guys got to shift. We're shifting, and we're going to do about 5 seconds to 10 seconds before the ball is snapped. This middle backer, I think Rossetti in the run game was great, and I think with this middle backer next year for the Generals, excuse me, I'm getting sick, I think. This middle backers, I think he's got to be athletic. I like an athletic middle backer that can play coverage. We're going to drop him back. They call it Tampa 2. We won't get into that. It's a little bit more of a Tampa 2 look, but he's going to drop back free. About 10 to 12 yards. Nothing crazy, but he's going to drop back. Just to help out with anything over the middle of the field. On this backside, this will backer, right? So we got the tailback, right? He's the only one that really can mess this play up for us. Now, obviously, if we're watching film, right? If this tailback is known to go on flat routes every time, hey, Will Backer, you're locked up on this tailback. And if he wants to go cross face and go over here, hey, we already got our sandbacker and cornerback right there to make a tackle. But if he's known for his flat routes, if he's known for going out to his right, hey, Will Backer, linebacker, you got that. You are manned up on this tailback. If we know, hey, this guy likes to sit and block. After watching film, hey, DN, let's disguise this. Let's start in the middle. You shoot outside. Hey, middle backer, you come outside like you're going outside, and then come back underneath for this blitz. It should be wide open right there. These guys on the backside, I need you guys yelling, talking to each other, moving. Act like this is coverage on the backside. Make him think you're playing cover 2. Make him think you're playing cover 4 or cover 3. But at the end of the day, I want you guys to come down about 5 to 7 yards off the ball, and we're playing man. And hopefully, if we blitz, you only got to be in coverage for 2 to 3 seconds. If we don't, and we're still playing man on this backside, you should still have help. Because what we're hoping happens, he goes somewhere here. He thinks this is disguised as man. It's not. It's cover 2. He probably will try to throw this whole shot, and bam, we pick it. If not, and hey, this guy stays in, we love that. We love to blitz. We'll come in here, we'll blitz off the edge. These guys got some help now because they only have to be in coverage for 2 to 3 seconds instead of 5 to 7 seconds. And these guys on the backside are already playing zone. It's pre-snap alignment, man. I think it works everywhere, honestly, and especially in high school football because like I said, these quarterbacks, you want to make them critically think. You have to make them critically think. And if we're in man coverage, 5 to 7 yards off the ball, man, you could still be physical. You could still come up, and really the pre-snap alignment allows you to get in position quicker, mess with this guy's head, so now you're already ahead of the game. You may not be as athletic as these guys, but you're setting yourself up to be in good position. Okay, let's talk about another example the Generals could do out of a cornerback blitz that I think would really be useful in high school football that I like a lot. All right, here's another look. Say we want to blitz, man. We think we can get after them. This is 3rd down. You know, they think we're playing zone, but we're really coming after them or something like that. Short yardage, too. I think this play's good. All right, here it goes. We're going to run a cornerback blitz. And I think for some reason the cornerback blitz, especially in high school football, doesn't get ran a lot. But I think it's super effective, especially if you have a guy out here that can run with his tail, run with his hair on fire, and likes to go hit people. Okay, so here's how we're going to do this right now. So pre-snap, think of it like last time. We're still shifting to this strength. Okay, these guys are shifting, right? We're all moving around pre-snap. We're all moving. We're running around with our heads cut off. It's controlled chaos. We're confusing this quarterback already. This quarterback's going to try to time up the snap. He's watched so much film, and we know as coaches we can time up this snap and go. So what we're going to do here, he's going to go. Man, you're going after the quarterback. This Mike backer, this middle backer, you're lined up. Your responsibility is the running back. That is your man. Running back, running back, running back. If he stays in to protect, hey, you have options here. It probably depends on down and distance. You could drop back if it's down in, you know, if they got 15 yards to go or something like that, or 10 yards to go. But hey, man, if it's short yardage, I want you flying up here. It's all based on what the T does. But if he goes out or something, that's the middle backer's guy. Now we're playing man over here. So the free safety is going to roll down to this outside receiver. He's got him manned up. And this will backer, since we're to the boundary, I like running this blitz to the boundary to the short side of the field. He's got this slot, and you won't have to cover him a long time because we're hoping we get home to that quarterback. So it shouldn't put you in that much of risk of getting beat deep. And then on this backside, hey man, we got this Sam backer right here. We could do games with him as well. Say we want to keep this middle backer in. Say he's not blitzing anymore. Hey, you just got the T, and the T backer stays in. We can still drop this guy man free. Hey, now that the T's not going out and you really have no responsibilities over here, hey, let's play games up here. D in here, you go outside. D in goes outside, you go inside. Let's bring this guy if he has no other responsibilities. That's just based off film, right? Though that's kind of film determines that. We know this T likes to stay. Hey, you could kind of chill back here, help us out over the top while you go. If this T likes to go, you're manned up here. You kind of got to roll up in this middle roll and just kind of spy this QB and help out a little bit over here as well. And on the backside, the safety, you're rolling down, covering this receiver right here, and cornerback, you're just manned up on this side. Now, in a dream world, right, we have this guy coming off the edge, and we also have this backer coming if the tailback flares out, and we just got to hold up for a couple seconds, probably 2 seconds, because we're hoping to, get home. The goal here is to bring 2 guys. If this back likes to fly out, it's a little harder coverage, because then we got to send him out and he's got to roll over the top. But that's just some ideas for you guys. I hope that made sense. Pre-snap movement, man, I think it helps a lot. And I think blitzing can help a lot as well for this secondary guys. You got to risk it to get the biscuit. Now let's move over to Wasco and kind of talk about their 2-point play. All right, so here it is. I got this play. Shout out to the guy that posted on Facebook so I could watch it. But kind of here it is. It's actually a really good play call. This is a 2-point conversion play call out of the single wing, which Wasco runs, as we all know, versus Kerman. So pre-snap, what Kerman did, okay, you got your tight end. First off, let's talk about Wasco. You got your tight end, your guard, your tackle, your guard, your center, your guard, your tackle, your tight end, your wing, your fullback, your running back. Wing on this play was Hammy Lopez, which Wasco likes to do if they want to throw the ball. That's kind of a tip. If Hammy's at wing, they like to throw the ball out of that a lot. Okay, so here it goes. The D-line all shifted, and they brought up down this linebacker right over the nose. Kerman did. So they all shifted to the strength because there's more guys over here, right? So all these D linemen that you see on the line of scrimmage all shifted down. This middle backer was locked up on the running back. So what Wasco did was this. Hernandez fakes the handoff, and it's just a little kind of wheel route by this running back. And this middle backer went there. Now, number 5, the Wasco running back at the time, raised his hand. You can see him raise his hand. He thought he was open, but I think Hernandez did a good job reading this defender. He saw him flashing. If he'd have thrown it to number 5, this guy, I think, makes the tackle, and they don't get it. So it was a really good read by Hernandez. But Hernandez is going to fake this. He's going to roll out, a little half roll out. And why? Now, let's talk about blocking protection in this play. So the fullback stayed in block because he's rolling out this way, so he's got to protect his blind side. They did a unique thing here. The guard actually pulled and went and got the outside shoulder of this defensive end. Did a really good job at that. That's probably the unsung hero of this play. The tight end releases out. And again, the middle backer's got the running back. And Hammy did a good job with his tracks again on this pass. So what he did was, if we could get a little closer on the wing. There he is. So right here. He releases outside, breaks back inside, and stacks this cornerback. They were doubling Hammy on this play, I'm pretty sure. He stacks him, so that now the cornerback's on his hip, but since he stacks him outside, it freezes up this safety for a second. He bangs a post back inside, and he beat them both. And that's who ends up catching this touchdown is Hammy. But this tight end on the backside did a nice job wheeling out, and he took both these defenders with him. Now, this is what I think what happened to Kerman. I think this cornerback was supposed to go with this tight end. I think this safety got his eyes stuck in the backfield, and he saw a rollout, and he got stuck back here. I really think he was supposed to sit in that middle of the field and get ready for that post that Hammy was running. Because they were doubling him up anyways, but this play was meant Look at everything's going outside. Tight end's going outside. Running back's going outside. Everyone else staying in the block. They wanted to make it look like he was going to roll out and throw it to this tight end when all of a sudden the middle of the field's wide open for Hammy, who ends up catching the touchdown. I think this safety was left wrong. I think that he had the middle of the field if I had to guess. I don't see them doubling up that tight end. And it's a really nice play call because this action, this fake by the running back really froze the safety, and this rollout by Hernandez, selling that, really froze him over here because he kind of looked off these two guys too. But Hammy ran a really good route, stacked the cornerback, and gave the safety a little jab step outside, went back in, and it was a touchdown. So that's what Wasco did. They also came back from 13 points. Thought they, did a really good job of that. But that's just my take on it. I think the Kerman safety on that backside away from Hammy, I think he might have had that middle of the field and got lost with all the play action that was going on. All right. Now, to Kennedy, I'm not going to draw anything up. I'm just going to kind of explain it to you here. What Kennedy does a good job of usually is they move around their D-line. They're always moving. Pre-snap, they are moving around. Kind of like we just talked about. But they didn't have the guys, it seemed like, to do what they used to do. But I think Coach Mion over there had a game plan coming into playoffs about, maybe moving some people around, getting his defensive line ready. And they're playing a lot better, especially on the backside. They're playing versus quarterbacks that like to roll out. And that backside defensive end's doing a good job of crashing and creating turnovers, man, getting sacks, making the reads a little messy for the quarterback. They're moving around the secondary a little more, but that defensive line is playing a lot better. And I think that's the difference, man. You got D. McCoblin's also playing a little bit of defense, which I think helps. And, again, their offense is built for the playoffs, and they would be a scary team to face. And as well for Independence, they're coached by Paul Gola, if you didn't know, one of the legendary coaches in town. He's good in the playoffs, man. He knows how to win. He's won state championships before with BHS at the highest level, at the Division I level. He's coaching his son now, who's the quarterback for Independence. Son's a big kid. Offense runs through him. He's running a lot more now, which I like, and he's throwing the deep ball phenomenal right now. And he's doing it at the right time. They also have a great linebacker on their team and fullback that it could be scary to play for. He's really physical. But let's talk about matchups now. Kennedy and Washington Union. I think playoffs come down to matchups. I think Kennedy matches up with them well. I think Washington Union won't be able to stop their run game. I wouldn't be surprised if Kennedy beats Washington Union, controls the clock, beats them 28-35, something like that. They control the clock long enough to win that game. I think Kennedy's going to go to the Valley Championship, and I think they're going to play Wasco. I do. Wasco's on a roll right now. They were down 13-0. I thought they would get beat after seeing that. They came back. They showed fight. They showed that they could come back into games. They threw the ball a little more late in the game. And again, they're playing with confidence, extreme confidence, even after that Shafter loss. And they're playing well, man, with like a chip on their shoulder. And I think they're just going to be too much for Independence, honestly. I think that run game is something you can't expect. But I do think that's a very good game. And Coach Gola's actually now that I'm thinking about, has run a version of the wing himself at BHS. And Independence runs a little bit of it as well. He might have a game plan just to beat it. I think that game's going to be a really good game. But I think Hammy Lopez and the Tigers are too much. And I think it's going to be a rematch, Wasco versus Kennedy, for this whole thing. Which is crazy because when they played the first time, like we know, it was a shootout. As far as the generals go, man, I think obviously your secondary and I think your receivers are going to be the most experienced on your team. And that secondary is going to have to shut up the noise and really go out and prove themselves. And I think they will. I think the Shafter defense coaching staff is great, and I think they'll have a game plan for that. And they say the best way to face the demons that chase you at the night is turn around and face them. And right now that demon is covering in the secondary. So if they could fix that around and kind of help those guys out in any way they can, and if the secondary figures it out for Shafter, I think they're going to have a very good defense and a very good team next year. So that's it for us, guys. Make sure to tune in Wednesday. We have a basketball preview with the Lady Generals basketball team coming up this week, and that will be the majority of our show. I think we're talking a little bit about the Washington Union matchup as well. But tune in Wednesday, guys. That's at 12:15 p.m. on Wednesday. See you guys then.